This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is your live daily market review for Tuesday, February 7th, 2023. Hopefully you are doing well. Just want to do a quick open chat. Probably won't be quick, never really are. Either way, wanted to open this up so that everybody could come in. I probably won't be around tonight to do a live or a recap, so I wanted to do it now. I don't think too much is going to change other than nothing, essentially. I think nothing is going to change. So let me start the recording. We got mic check. We good. If you got questions, I can see you in the beginner room. And let's just keep it free flowing. This might be a longer one. Who cares? Don't care in the sense of people are mad about it, but they can either watch either one later on. So mic is good. Cool. All right, this is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is your live daily market review for Tuesday, February 7th, 2023. Hopefully you're doing well. I want to start off talking about exit liquidity. I think a lot of people buying into the what you would call AI names don't realize that they are the exit liquidity. You are exit liquidity, and you will probably be a struggle. I mean, again, now, one of the things people don't realize is that there's a lot of stuff that comes and goes, and it stays as well. Like, you can go all the way back to satellite radio, 3D stocks, crypto mining, whatever the fad of the month, weeks, quarter is. That stuff doesn't typically last. Now, it brings in what we consider the silly, sad, stupid money that comes in at the end versus at the beginning. And then they buy and hold on to the story forever, hoping that they get back to where it was at some crazy peak point. Are we at the peak points? I don't know. But either way, I think it's giving the market the rationale to be able to pump it up just a little bit. And then you see like the Bed Bath & Beyonds pump 100%, then dump 100%. I mean, they're not 50%. It's an interesting area. Again, I think we're at the point, and again, I'll be watching briefing.com to see if any of the comments come out from Powell, but I think this is the exit liquidity. We've said this now, that how can the Feds pivot with unemployment at a 50-year low, y'all? They're going to have to talk hawkish, and I guarantee you, they're looking at oil today going, oh crap, it's up another 3 or 4%. That doesn't make them feel good about curtailing inflation. If anything, as we've talked about, we thought it was going to get better, and then it didn't. And essentially meaning what? We thought commodity prices would come down, the market would slow down. Instead, I've seen a pickup in a lot of things near term. Now, that's why a lot of people think the recession's not coming, but this is the problem here. Inflation, if you know your past, inflation is a absolute hard thing to control. And once the Feds lose control of it, it's over. And so I think they're going to proceed to be a little more cautious than willy-nilly cut rates or stop raising rates just because a few people are complaining. Now, again, they need the dollar soundness. They need credibility. These are all just ideas, thoughts. Again, talk to your financial advisor. Be thoughtful for anything, though. But at this point, I mean, again, I think this is the exit liquidity we're waiting for people to kind of bounce in, because I'm seeing material names other than oil getting beat around. Seeing the trash float up real hard and then flopping. I'm seeing certain stuff flop. I mean, if you took any of the trades that we posted today, I think you're feeling pretty good about yourself, especially the Meta, Microsoft, Pops, FAS, if you added that one. Again, if we talked about if you shorted gold, you took profits, and now you're looking for Pops over to 175 on the GLD or more. Everything feels pretty normal. Now, I know it's SMH and down. Some things are down today. Not surprised. Again, with the market rallying. But look at the IWM. Either way, ask questions. Let me do the review, and then we'll stick around. And either way, I appreciate everybody. I know this is not easy. It's amazing to me reading a lot of the friends and beginner room stuff. And I don't think people realize I literally was, we all start in the same place. Your awareness to your own issues, how the market works, only evolves. So if you think you've got everything figured out and you've been trading and you barely make money, or you're up and down, or your account is small, trust me, you've got a lot to learn. So be a sponge. Don't be the know-it-all who comes into this going, well, I've been doing this for 3 years. Well, do you really know what's going on, or are you just eccentric about your guessing? Hit us up on Twitter. Let me know if I can help you. This is the best place to get in touch with me. Someone's asking me to join a trading room. where I talk for an hour a day, yeah, right. You're going to have to pay me a lot of money for that, and I have no desire. I'd rather teach for free to people who want to listen than a bunch of goofballs looking for free trades. Because what do we say? Getting wealth is built on bigger swing trades. Think Livermore, think Buffett, think of the bigger moves, while cookies are made on the, or little trades are the cookies. You can't get rich off of cookies. You got to find the big deals. Big deals, big moves, etc. Unless you want to leverage and gamble hard. And if you gamble hard, well, there's always that risk of total loss. All right, back to basics series. Please check this out. YouTube channel, please subscribe, like, hit the notification bell. You'll get the notifications that we're doing these events or these chats. It's the best way to stay in touch. What's up, Lee? Bitcoin, I'm watching up here. I mean, again, I personally said this for a while. I think it's in sideways action, dead money. Now, again, you can trade around this stuff. No one's saying you can't do that. No, that's fine. That is totally fine. But we'll see. I don't really have much faith in it going much higher. Just kind of like pulling back in gold. I think there's going to be this like perception that they were going to loosen and people wanted to jump in front of the pivot. And now that they're realizing there's probably not going to be a pivot. So there's going to be a pullback in the stuff, I think, first. Oil, speaking of the devil. Again, if you have any questions related to the names that I'm going through, please ask. I can see in the beginner room or the chat. Not surprised it bounced. I mean, look at the little bottom here. Bouncing back up. Tough to know. Again, I mean, a lot of people are very emotional about oil and gas. Like, it's going to the moon. Oh, looks like Feds are speaking. We'll get to that in a second. Seeing the market pop. I personally don't really have any more trades I'm probably going to put on at this point. It's hard to do both. So I'm pretty comfortable with the Microsoft, Meta, and FAS trades. But if you wanted to take them on, we'll get there in a second. Watch this action. I mean, I don't think it's bullish or bearish at this point. I think it could chop around. Personally, think it will go lower at some point when the Feds do what? Raise rates, try to kill the economy, and mean killing inflation, because they go hand in hand. Man, market is all over. I'm watching on the side. And up a point, down a point, up a point, down a point. Yeah, we'll see what happens here with oil. Natural gas, a lot of people want to buy this. I get it. Be careful with UNG. It's decaying. I don't know how else you want to play this other than it probably goes sideways, dead money. Let's get into, wow, market's all over the place. If you had opportunity to add to Microsoft or Meta or whatever, FAS, whatever your favorite short was on that pop, good God, you're welcome. Again, this is what we're kind of waiting for. I felt comfortable with my positions to do this. I'm not adding anything, but I, bless any pop ads. That's what we talked about in the Discord room. I don't know if I can get like the Roman Catholic, no, I bless this trade. Yeah, watch it. Because this is probably the exit liquidity. Pump right before the speech. Yeah, I agree. Again, I'm not seeing any notes on it. If anyone wants to drop any in the Discord room so they can remind me or keep me aware, it's hard to do both and watch the market go nuts. But let's go, again, not even really nuts, just trading in a little, like a point or two around. All right, the dollar. We've talked about this. Things that aren't bearish. Again, you are the exit liquidity. Oops. Nothing to really see there. Just a bunch of files and junk. 50-day on the dollar. Keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it. I don't think there's really much at this point to get really bearish about, but I'm not surprised if it chops here over the 50-day. We talked about once it got over the 20-day and started going, I think it was very clear. It was good. I've said this 1,000 times. I think the dollar goes to the moon before it goes south. And we talked about that in last year. And it rallied and said, all right, it's probably due for a pullback. Well, it was an exact 50% pullback approximately to our support zone. Now it's starting to catch up. Things that aren't bullish. TLT, again, we talked about interest rates, right? Hits the 200-day. All right, if the Feds are pivoting, why are rates going higher, right? Why, if inflation is really going to be falling apart, dropping, then why are the interest rates going lower? I mean, you see what's going on here? It's a big game. I just don't know when it resolves. That's the hardest part, is you don't know what day. The VIX, if you bought it down here, you bought puts, you saw this action as a gift. Ooh, your gold trade might be popping up. Keep an eye on that one. Here you go. Not surprised. It's over the 20-day. Probably, remember, these are delayed. What's the VIX actually at? It's at 1940. Yeah, it's down a little bit more. Not much, but we'll see what happens here. Keep an eye on it. SPY, speaking of the devil, watch the action. 2-day range. Could it test back up to this 413? I don't think that would be a problem at all. I don't think so at all. Watching the 10-minute, or sorry, the hourly, you're coming into this area, which I think you'll probably take a siesta at. And again, people are like, oh, you saw it was going to drop and then it's going higher. And no, I said this very clearly. Like, I'm comfortable with both. Talked about it in the Discord room. Like, if it pops, great. You've got your shorts. You got your shorts to put on. If you're going long here, trading around it, go ahead. I mean, it's one of those things. You do what you got to do. I personally, again, let's try. This is really hard with too many things going on. Let me see if I can get any PAL statements. All right, no PAL statements yet, but there's the SPY coming back up. 413, probably going to be somewhere around that max. QQQs, the trash, going higher last. Nice. Look at some of these tech names. Sorry, it's just hard to watch. Gold popped. Yep, 175. All right, not surprised. Not surprised at all. We're getting a little poppage. Could we get back to 309? I don't know. I mean, this area right here, right now, is probably going to be a little bit of a struggle. If you go back and look at the past, we'll see. Again, I'm trying to watch it on the 10-minute. I see some big volume candles that have references. Powell probably needs to do more rate increases. I mean, that's ultimately what's going to have to happen here. That's why I thought they would get to the point and get it done. Get those 50 basis point rate hikes in. Really knock inflation out. But they're always a little too slow, a little too stupid, in my opinion. They don't ever do it right, So we'll see what happens here. You're getting to that 413 IWM, man. Coming back. All right, watch what happens here around 194, 195. Deflationary process started, but still a long way to go. Yeah, but the problem is, and this is what happened in the 70s, is that they think they hit their goals, but the problem is deflation isn't the problem. It's inflation anchoring in. That's what happens. So watch the IWM here. I think 195, again, you're hitting all the levels that we just talked about literally 2 seconds ago. Except for the Q. Yeah, the Qs, I don't know how I can do. Oh, Microsoft up to 2. Okay. All right, maybe it's just right here. Keep an eye on it. Gold. Let me go. Oh, speaking of, let's get into. Well, let me do DA real quick because this thing's been lagging. This is harder than I thought, moving all over the place. Here you go, coming into the trend line, coming into like this range area. We'll see what happens. Gold. Speaking of the devil, if you shorted it, congrats. Now, what did we say? Posted this on Twitter. Watch. People were shorting this yesterday, and I about wanted to rip my hair out because every time this thing gaps down big, it finds a bottom, a pop at some point. Because think about it, same thing with the market. like coming off the highs, the market will do what? Find buyers because it's been in an up move. So you expect the first drop to be bought. Does that make sense? So here you go. Watch what happens when it gets into the 175s. If you want to add more dust, you want to short, it makes sense to me. Anything of news from Fed Pow? No, not yet. Feels like, again, exit liquidity dollar came right back. Let's take a look at that. Man, recap's going to be harder for people who are watching this afterwards. Yeah, watch the 50-day. Watch this 2-day range. Could it fill the gap? I mean, anything's possible. Silver, man, I think it's just lagging hard as usual. Donkey, not much to say to it. GDX bouncing. Maybe in a little early on some of these trades, but whatever. I can't do everything at once. GDX, Doji at the 50-day. I would be watching what happens here at the 30, 80s. Could it get up to 31? Maybe. Absolutely maybe. GDXJ, been lagging. We talk about the leaders lagging, or the junior miners lagging. Here you go at the 50-day. Could it get up to 37.50s? Maybe. Maybe. AG, talked about this one lagging. I mean, this thing is dead money. AEM, talked about it peaking, gapping down under the 50-day. Doesn't really look that good. Trends all broken. See what happens here. Man, this is hard. I got a million things watching. Newmont. Here you go. Probably up to the 50-day. Fill the gap maybe on their buyout of what you would call it. Who'd they buy? Some miner. They bought somebody. Again, we talked about them having to do that to grow. They're going to have to spend money. They're going to have to raise debt. I mean, it's not very balance sheet strong long term. It's the stuff that you don't want to see personally if you own for a company like that, because they don't have any organic growth. They just have to buy to grow. The Newcrest, thank you, that's who it was. Okay, so PAAS, same thing, bouncing, dead money, just looks dead. Let's get into what we typically do. Get into AMD. Let's get into tech because I think this is what's going to get interesting here. Might be able to find something as we speak, confirm some stuff. AMD, dead money. I've said this. I think it's done. It likes to do these long blow-offs at highs. Then it rolls over. I think it's just going to chop. Clearly, NVIDIA has earnings coming up. People are getting excited about that. Okay. We'll see what happens here. It's right back up near the highs. Again, people were talking about shorting. I'm like, I wouldn't short this one just yet, right? We talked about that. It hasn't had earnings. Something like Taiwan Semi has, and they have huge risk from China, right? Well, here you go. Coming to the 8th day. This looks like a way better short. Just got to be patient on it. SMH popping back to the 250 area. Okay. I mean, it's interesting to watch what happens around here. I'm not surprised by this bounce. If you want to add some shorts on this, it makes total sense right here, right now in these areas. Just have stops. Define your risk. Define your risk. Define your risk. Define your risk. Please, for the love of God. Hate when people are just like, oh, I didn't define my risk. What do I do now? Well, that's the first thing in trading 101. Adobe. Yeah, this thing is done. That's the pivot point. If it bounces back, great. Short it. Apple. Oof. Should be shorting this one right here. Right now, look at this coming into 154s. I like this right here. Again, define your risk. Define your risk. Define your risk. Could it get up to the 200-day? Or sorry, the 0.618 again. Always possible. Amazon, lagging hard. Chat GPT, blah, blah, blah. Hits a 20-day. All right. Due for a little bounce. Makes sense. But this thing is lagging. Trash. CRM. Getting some private equity money. Popping. Okay. It's holding this lane. It breaks below this 166 area. Goodbye. Guggenheim. They're rolling out their own AI. Great. Awesome. It'll probably not move the balance sheet one bit because they're going to probably give it away for free. Or they're going to try to charge some amount for some enterprise value, and then people just get it for free from someone else. Keep that in mind. Again, watch what happens here, literally, as we speak. It's an interesting area. Meta, continuing to rally. Got some in the 191s, 190 area. Okay, watch what happens here. This could be another wick. Could it get up to 194? That's always possible. Microsoft got some in the 264s. Starter position, haven't added yet. Watching. We'll see if this is a wick. I mean, could it get back up into this little zone? I mean, you're basically there now. Not surprised if it is. If again, you have to think about the market here. And I know a lot of people they look at the price and they don't think about what's going on essentially. And they just, okay, green is up, red is down, right? Like that's how they're like trained, they're wired. They see green, they don't ever think time to sell. They see red, they don't think it's ever time to cover or buy. So just be careful watching this stuff. Mr. Softy. The NDAQ, again, lagging as always, piece of junk. Tech is not going to have the liquidity it once will on their index. Ooh, okay, maybe NDAQ is getting that level. Just looks like dead money. MicroStrategy, flopping here, chopping around, holding around this area. I mean, again, I don't think there's really much to do other than short. Netflix, nice little pop here. I think you got the short here. At this point, I don't know. I mean, the easier was the long wick and up here. Now it's just kind of lagging. It's doing what it's doing. Roblox lagging as usual. Chopping. Again, I don't want to short this stock. I've said this a million times. I'll wait for it to dip if it dips with tech. If not, it could be a buyout target. Said that a bazillion times. Whoa, tech is getting some pumpage. Again, I don't see any actual news. Tesla, again, if you shorten, this is why you don't chase. We talk about this in the beginner room, but basically, like, just let prices come to you, and sometimes you'll still be early, but you had references at least. There you go. There are your references. Watch what happens. I mean, a lot of people are calling for 200. Does it get to 200? We'll see. Oh, man, it's hard to, like, stop and not want to watch all the other stuff. Letter X, lagging. Again, we talked about material names. This is not bullish. Be aware. Something doesn't look right. New core. When is the rug pull? I don't know what time the rug pull is. Someone send me an email, right? New core, same thing. Here's your pivot point. Someone's saying, should I short now? It looks like it's going to 157. I mean, I here's the problem with shorting now, right? Like, first dip, market's rising. Like, just wait. And if it doesn't pop, maybe somewhere around 169, 170. Be careful. Be thoughtful. I'm telling you right now, define your risk. It's hard for me to, like, do all of this and still try to, like, all right, well, I got my risk defined. Try to make it happen, because again, if you can't watch all the time, you're living in a bubble where it's gonna burst at some point. Because wrong is wrong. Sometimes things happen. VALE, watch what's up here. Again, these names don't look very economic growth friendly. Arrow popping after tipping. Watch the 20-day, 8-day. CCJ, nice little bounce back. Man, market up 1%. IWM down, up only 0.5%. Yeah, we told you guys it'd get stuck up here around what? 27, 28. Looks like it's going to happen. CF, man, these ag names just got nothing. Got nothing. I love these names long term, but I'm going to have to wait. Mosaic, same thing. This one looks a little better holding up, but they're just things to watch. They don't look like they're going anywhere. We talked about NTR hitting the 200-day and failing. Aaron, here you go, chopping. Talk about banning Russian aluminum. It pops and it flops. Chopping, things that you would think would act stronger. Caterpillar, here's another one you would think would be acting stronger. Gaps down on earnings. Watch if it hits the 20-day. You should add, obviously, in my mind. I think that's a good area. What else is going on? Let me see. Just trying to like keep in touch with everything. Text, all sorts of stuff. Oxy hitting levels. XOP. Financials, that's where we need to go to next. XLF, love the FAS. What is that? Oh, 91 and change. Wow. Be careful. Be absolutely careful. You know, we've talked about, could it get up into this range? Yeah. Give yourself time. Please give yourself time. Please give yourself time. The volumes aren't really confirming anything other than trap, in my opinion. We'll see how it plays out. Could the market go to new? I mean, all these things have to be in the back of your mind. Like, you don't trade with one variable and you assume it's a constant. You know, variables change. You have to be thoughtful. Again, I like financials for the shorts for the long term. I have no doubt about that. Because, again, who eats all the issues when the Fed starts raising rates? Oh, but they're going to make more money on their debt. But how many more people are going to be able to afford loans? How many more people can borrow? What kind of money are they really going to be making? That's the question you have to ask yourself, right? It's not good. Not good at all. Where are we at? All right, back. All right, JP Morgan. Let's see where this guy's at. Probably back near the highs. Yep, back at this 0.618. Keep an eye on it. Morgan Stanley. Man, this is lagging. You think it'd be over 100. No, it's not. GS getting that nice little bounce. All right, here comes SPY 415. Q's in that level. Hopefully we'll get through this quick and then I can talk about this. Yep, all right, we'll see what happens here. Is this going to be a wick? I'd be watching it. XBI. Flat. Things that you would think would be up today. Just kind of chopping. Again, there's not broad market rally everywhere. It seems to be very confined to certain things. Solar. Talked about this. Be careful. Down. Looks like it's done. Here's the M top. ENPH has earnings after hour. It's trying to catch a little bid here. Not surprised. Again, it's going to earnings down a ton. Leave it alone. Sedgerton. Chopping. Not surprised as well in this zone. I mean, again, I think the first solar is the easiest short. We've talked about this a bazillion times. Hits down towards the 50-day. Okay, bounces a little bit. Keep an eye on it. Still lagging down a couple points today. Let's end it with oil, gas, and then boom, we can open up the chat. Here you go. Oil bouncing. Again, not surprised. I mean, you've got a range low, but here's where the Feds are going to be in the pickle at some point. I think we all agree. Where are we at? UNG. Nat gas, please. Leave nat gas alone. Again, this ETF is decaying in a rapid rate. I think natural gas could be stuck for a while. Just keep that in mind. XOP 136. I don't really have a reference here. Someone says short. I'd probably watch for the 139, 140 range if you are, but it might not even get there. This is the hard thing. Oxy. Run through these real quick. Pop in. Not surprised. Held range lows. Watch up in the 64 range. ExxonMobil right back towards like the old highs, not the newer highs. See what happens here. Could be a head and shoulders pattern, question mark. Keep that in the back of your mind. PXD, all right, this one's been lagging, now bouncing. Okay, cool, worth a watch. Don't really have much to say on it. EQT, this thing is just dead. All right, this is the live daily recap. I appreciate everybody. I'm going to open up for questions, no more recording, and let's do this. All right, what is the market doing? That is hard to do and watch all this. Okay. 415 max QQQ. Just give me a second. Yeah, trade deficit, no doubt. Trade set a record. Okay. Fill in this range. IWM. Nothing. Getting a lot of text. A lot of people going, oh, market's rallying. Okay. Gold, I don't think it's up enough in that meta. Let's see what happened here. I got to 193. Okay. Yeah. Hit that box. Microsoft. Wow, got to 260. Got a little above the target zone. Again, exit liquidity, in my opinion. Tesla. Trying for that 200. We'll see. Oh, wow. SMH. Holy crap. Bola up 7 points. All right. Back into the upper range bound. Let's look at this real quick. Oh, that's right. My charts didn't save because you had a issue overnight. Keeping it. Watch this area, y'all. Watch this area. I don't think we're going to get over that. This is probably some sort of retest at some point. Now, again, if all this is wrong, you have to know in the back of your head, what is your defined risk? Expect to be a year significant decline in inflation. Now, of course, that's what they're going to say. No, that's cool. I appreciate that posted, but that's what they're going to say. I mean, I think you've got the State of the Union address coming up. Yeah, here we go. Here are the comments. I'll post them on the Discord room. Sorry, I can't do it here. I know it's not necessary. It's just one of those things. Not enough room. Veteran said, deflation process has begun. There's a long way to go. Ongoing rate increase will be appropriate. He was surprised by the January jobs report, but shows that the tightening process is one that will take a period of time. 2% inflation target is not going to change. He thinks it's take until the year next year to get it down. Until next year to get it down. If data continues to come in stronger, expect the Fed will raise rates, not considering a sale of MBS. Fed cannot shield markets from debt ceiling breached. Okay. There you go. That's basically the headlines from it. Trying to think if there's see if there's anything like any major alarms going off. No, I mean, I think we hit the peak during the recording there, if I had to guess. So if you got your shorts on, put your pants on, whatever you want to call it. I like it. I think a lot of people, again, will probably look at this and go, oh, I can't do that. And it's like, these are the times where you get the best bounces. And and this is the thing, so how we talked about, let's just like bottom line this. Let me get the weekly out of here real quick. Keep in mind where we are at. Oh, that didn't save either. This is so annoying. Is that no one, this is the hardest thing. I mean, not to me, but to people who are newer, to sell, take profits, and flip to short here. And what do we talk about? The first dip gets bought. Well, that might be all you need. Because that's a decent bounce. 408, 6 points. Could it be this little dip? I don't know. I was expecting more of this down to the 20-day at some point. This before that. This before that. Just keep that in mind. Because, again, I think people, are we starting a bull market? Is a recession coming? Recession over? I mean, again, you can argue these things till you're blue in the face. I don't think it matters at a certain point. It's all perception. And, again, if inflation entrenches in and the Fed say it's not, we'll see. I mean, how many times did the Fed, have we ever, and this is the thing I always love, when was the last time the Feds navigated a soft landing? Can anyone remind me of that time that the Feds navigated a soft landing? Do y'all remember that? Anyone remember that soft landing that the Feds navigated so eloquently and perfectly? Does anyone remember that? Anybody? Bueller? No, because it never happened. It's never happened. So, at this point, on this planet, good question. Probably not. Soft landing. That's funny. So, we'll see what happens here. I mean, again, people are saying 430, 420. Again, we always talk about the mistake of raising targets after you hit upside targets and then assuming higher highs. Well, again, what's the fear and greed index at? 80? Right? That's pretty aggressively what I'd call greedy. What else is going on? You've got this culmination of AI, which has now just got everybody in a frenzy to buy stocks, which, again, AI, it's going to be free for the most part. You're not going to have to pay for it. Now, again, these companies thinking they're going to charge a premium maybe for enterprise value in businesses. Maybe. Again, I don't know. But do we know a lot of these companies that are pushing this? Does it feel like the time where they threw, it's like Riot Blockchain AI now? I mean, that's what you're kind of anticipating at this point. Lemonade crypto? Right? I mean, you just don't know. You just don't know. So if you shorted this dip, you get, or the pop high five of the day for the folks in the Discord room. Because again, the SPY got, 415. Not surprised. Anything's possible. I mean, the wick is forming as we speak. I mean, again, and these people are like, oh, you're arrogant. No, it's based on reoccurring patterns. They've never navigated a soft landing, period. Right? Inflation, if it's not under control, and we see inflation coming back, I see it in rent, right? You see it in the food prices. You see it in the oil and gas prices. Now, lumber's come down, but certain material stuff, if you want certain things in general, there's still shortages. So that's not, the supply chain's still a mess. So again, I don't know how they can rationalize success with inflation when, to me, it's finding a new higher low, essentially, right? So we'll see what happens here. And that's where I think the Feds, ultimately, as we talked about, like 1970s, 1980s kind of feel to it, they're going to have to pump the rates unless they do it quickly and do it aggressively. Because if not, like, it just drags on, and once inflation entrenches, it just drags on. And maybe that's what they really want. I don't know. So if you have any thoughts, questions, concerns, the mic is open. If you want to talk junk, you can. If you want to say I was right and you were wrong, that's fine. I mean, again, it's just trying to be right over time. So it just is what it is. Yeah, XBI, IDM lagging, this pop. Yeah, I'm watching Haiti on the main chat. I agree. It all looks very weak. It all looks very weak. It all looks like a flush to get who. I mean, if you go look at, again, I'll probably have some, let me see if I got any comments on Twitter. No one's talking junk. I'm not surprised, though, like that if you try to rip this up, hence why we talked about people this morning. If you're looking to short, it needs to be at extremes or wait. If you waited, you win. You get the cookie. Remember, the first mouse gets the trap, second gets the cheese, right? That's usually the case. Well, here it is, the pop. And again, if you got into things nearer the highs, that makes sense to me. Because they probably didn't go much higher. I'm looking at some of these names. Whatever. Right? Whatever. A little higher, maybe. Not surprised. Can it be a nice wick? Probably. Again, watching the IWM. Why is the IWM up 0.3%? It's lagging again. Can't even go over yesterday's open. Something's wrong here. I'm telling you. Watch for lagging. We'll see. Any questions, thoughts, concerns? I know a lot of people, I don't know how to explain it to them. Their mental fortitude of trading either too aggressively, too often, or trying to put themselves in between what's going to happen is hard. But this is the thing, like instant gratification, putting themselves in a pickle to be right away is the problem. I hope that's becomes very obvious for these folks. Like if you have to be right away, always in trading, and I say it all the time, like, my ability to pick an exact top, it's not, like 1 out of 3 times if I'm lucky. I'm just trying to be close because I don't know where the top is. I know all the different formations, the traps, the games, the retest. You're going to tell me that you've been trading for 2 years, 3 years, 20 years, I don't care, and you still think you can pick tops with like flawlessly? That's a lie. That's just not true. Like, it's just not possible. So anyone who talks uncertainties about picking tops, bottoms, like, that's hard, man. It's absolutely hard. FedPal says biggest worry from him regarding inflation is about when we see disinflation in core services, ex housing. I don't know. We'll see. These guys they've wandered off the deep end without a plan. Again, as you can tell, they're trying to what we call weak it. I agree, Kristen. Powell looks weak. He's such a boop. He's just scared to say it. He's just scared to say what he really, and he knows what they need to do. And again, people are like, oh, what are you, an economist? No, I've been doing this long enough, and I've studied the past. I know what they have to do. You flood the market with liquidity from COVID, and you keep rates low for 10 years too long. What do you think you got to do? You got to go around the other side and punch it hard up. You got to get rates up. You got to kill the potential of inflation entrenching. We'll see what they end up doing. If you're betting on a soft landing, you are the exit liquidity. And I will say that over and over and over. And I don't know how high we have to go before it is. And I think it's already in. The top is already in my opinion. But we'll see. We will see. Yeah, this pop does look weak. I'm looking at some of the internals. I don't trust it for a minute. Don't trust it for a minute. If you got your gold shorts up at 175 plus, congrats. If you got some shorts on those wicks on any of these stupid mega caps that are trying to push AI, congrats. If you got some SMH short, congrats. You got some Soxus under 19, congrats. If you got some FAS anywhere above 90, it's still above 90, congrats. Yeah, it's hard to watch weak people. I agree. He's such a weak mofo. And again, because I think again, I can't watch him live and talk to y'all, but I really think he's lying to himself. So, sorry, I'm getting a text. Loading docs. It's just tough to know. It's just tough to know. Looks like tops in based on the volume. Yeah, I would agree. Let me see if I can pull up some 10 minutes to confirm all of this. Can't look at everything all the time. And again, the volumes just are not that strong. PAAS still has longs, I guess. I mean, look at this. Watch what happens here. If it can't get, because look at this candle right here. This is a major inflection point in my opinion. So I keep an eye on this area. Now again, it can go a little higher, but I wouldn't be surprised, and this is the thing. Y'all remember at the lows you had like that big up and then down? Let me see if I can find it real quick. Give me a minute, because we're gonna have to go back to October. I can't remember. It's only 120 days back, maybe. Let's see if it. Let's go back in the time machine. Yeah. Y'all remember this crap? Y'all remember how we had like a nice defined low? We took out the lows and then rallied right back. Now we have a high, in my opinion. Wow, this person emailed me 3 times. Clearly I'm not going to answer you. Where are we now? Where are we? Come on. We got to get back over the current time frames. Now, I know people say, well, hold on, this is a different time point. Yes, but the same kind of thing is like you needed a squeeze here to maybe capitulate everybody. That's what I'd be watching. This pop to a flop. Again, people will say like, oh, but, you know, you got to be flexible with your mind. And it's like, yeah, I've got to be flexible if the evidence changes. I'm not seeing massive deflation like they speak of. I think maybe that's, again, I'm not watching Powell, so I appreciate the comments talking about he looks weak, he doesn't look confident. I appreciate it, because I think he knows in his mind he's lying. You know, anyone who can play poker, you know, like people will look you in the eye and look confident, you know, when they have the nuts, when they have something, you know. Like it's, you know, it's natural for people to act strong, and when they're weak, maybe not even weak, it's maybe lying, maybe not poker, but, you know, when they're lying, they don't want to look at you, they don't, you know, their tone changes, their shoulders sag. I mean, all these little things. So is this the trap as we speak? I mean, this is kind of one of the reasons why I was hoping to record this now, because I thought this might happen. In my mind, this is what now people say, well, did you think it would go this high? No. I did not think we'd get this high on the SPY, but it is what it is. I mean, this is the hardest part. Like, again, if you bring the mindset of exactness and knowing that, all right, well, if it gets over this price, I'm gone. I mean, imagine how many people probably said 415 and it's going back to 420 or 419, and it's like, It's tough to know, y'all. I mean, this is the thing. I mean, hopefully people will see this through like the lens of someone who's been doing this for 20 years. Like, you're gonna see times in the market where it's just not really easy to predict exactly where something's going to go, because you don't know the reactions, because you and I don't know who needs to get squeezed or who is in a position to get squeezed or what the market makers are trying to do in between swing points, right? Like, we know the top is in, or at least that's how I feel about it. You've got the blow-offs with the volume, and now you have retest on lighter volume. Okay, we'll see. It's really hard to know for sure, and that's the thing. In a probability-based game, once you believe in certainty, especially near term, it's really tough. Like, you're gonna strike out a lot, and that's where I laugh when people are like, "Well, I'm long and I'm short and I'm this. And I got puts and I got calls." And it's like, you got to be careful with that. Maybe not laugh. You got to be careful, because your mind is being pulled apart. I'd rather just miss a move and wait for like the pivot than to try to like play both sides aggressively. Does that make sense? Hopefully people have learned that lesson. Like, trying to play both sides aggressively, like going long, going short. Now, again, if you want to go long as a hedge, it makes sense. But to actually believe like the market might go to new highs, that doesn't make sense. Because again, now you're going to be torn between winning and losing. And sometimes you'll take stops, or you'll hit your stops at the extreme, literally at the extremes. We've all done that. I imagine somebody had shorts and was like, and this is the thing. I mean, I'm not going to say this person's name or who I think it is, but I mean, would you not be surprised that if at some point somebody got squeezed out here on their shorts and now they're just holding their longs exactly how the market maker would want it? Shorts aren't going to work. Done with it. Popping up. Here you go. Going long to the moon. New bull market. Feds are going to navigate this amazing soft landing. Want, want. Nope. And here it comes, right? Come on back. Come on back. You hear? Any questions, thoughts? Does this make sense, what happened here? Because I guarantee there's a lot of people who had both long and short. They covered their shorts, held their longs, and now they're going to cover their longs at the high, and then they're going to have their profits eaten. Now, again, you can't short aggressively, right? Because you're not at the highs, right? Are you going to short aggressively? Yeah, well, all right, you might have to. First move is the question mark. Thank you, Jay Solstice. I was just thinking, I'm like, man, I'm not saying, I'm like, my brain is a little distracted because I'm trying to like do a million things. Yes, the first move is the trap. That looks like the first move. Yep, thanks, Sonny, for confirming that. I appreciate you guys like trying to post this stuff. Because again, it's hard. I mean, there's no, and I always say this all the time, there's no certainty. And that's the thing. If you shorted near the highs, all you can really do is just hang out and watch. So, I don't know. I feel like someone like Drew, I mean, I imagine you're struggling. If you shorted earlier and didn't define your risk and got stopped out at the highs, you're probably like pissed off. That's how I'd be. I mean, again, you learn from your mistakes or you learn from experience. That's where we were talking about, like, going into this, have bullets to fire. Do not be all in short 100% unless you plan on not being around for a couple days and not watching. Because were we surprised that it could pop? Now, again, how aggressive? That's always the hard part, right? You don't know. I mean, if it goes from 409 to 411, 412, are you really that concerned? No. But when it popped up to 415, you probably went, oh my God, fire away, fire bullets. Unfortunately, I fired some of my bullets before this thing, and I'm looking all right now. But it is what it is. I just don't, I can't do all this. Wow, look at gold. Anyone else take gold on that pop? Again, I'm not trying to cherry pick this stuff, but it's hard to know when there's the retest or the first bounce. And so off the highs, again, if you have shorts at really good entry points, again, trade around the core just a little bit if you need to. And if you don't, pretend like you didn't watch today, because maybe if you're not around, like what happens if the SPY closes right back at 409? You didn't miss a single thing. You're not going to miss anything, right? It's like this day down here, it closes here, it pops, comes right back. Maybe you bought this as this, thinking this was the trap, and it came right back. You didn't even notice, unless you were watching all day. Does this make sense? Like this, like blowout, pops, comes back, has another retest during the day. Probably looked like the world was going to end 2.0 or 3.0, whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it rallied right back and you didn't even notice it. Is that possibly what's happening right here, right now? Seeming very likely. Again, that's why it's so hard to be again, that's why I just cringe at the people who day trade all day, thinking that they're going to be able to nail this with like perfection. And it's like, you miss out on the big trades because what are you trying to do? Trying to scrape a point or two here and there. Maybe it's a couple points. I don't know. I mean, again, maybe it works for you. I know for a fact for me, and everybody that I think who's really learned from me or followed, they have the same kind of thing. Like, they have jobs. They have other things they want to do. They don't want to be a full-time trader. They don't want to sit here and watch this all day, every day. And so if you're partially distracted by nature because of what you do, then trying to sit around and correctly predict every single intraday move or when the best places to get in is going to be hard as crap, man. Powell just said if jobs reports keep coming in hot, they'll have to raise higher than markets pricing in. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing here. I mean, that's why I feel like the bond market has sold off in the last couple days, weeks, or like 2 weeks, rates gone higher, because I think the market is waking up to the realization that inflation ain't going anywhere at some point. I thought it was. I thought they were going to have the capacity to raise 50 basis points, have steel balls to do what they need to do. And everyone else kind of did until recently. And that's the thing. I think we all have come to the realization that now they've just prolonged this game of raise rates, inflation, raise rates, inflation. And you're probably going to have the 1970s. redux potentially, which if you don't remember is pretty damn volatile. Fed Powell's done. All right. Biggest worry for him regarding inflation is about being able to disinflation. All right. Biggest challenge yet. Likely to see some softening labor market. Yeah, immigration data has turned up again, which is helping the labor market. Never thought about that, but is that immigration really helping the labor market? I don't know. Maybe that is. I mean, I personally know more people being laid off than added on, but I also don't know new folks who've immigrated to this country or illegal aliens. Personally, I guess they're not technically aliens, but you know what I mean. I could see that definitely helping. I can't, but it's. Does anyone really know how the jobs numbers is like calculated anymore? I still struggle. I stopped giving a crap because I'm like, I don't know anymore. You used to have defined like what the workforce was, and then now you have all these different variations of it. And then the way they calculate it, it's like CPI. Someone else was talking about like it's probably gonna look like the CPI is coming down a big amount, but everyone's gonna be like, "What planet are you on?" Right? CPI. Nice trading. Congrats to Sonny. Some of the other guys. I think a few of y'all who waited and added. Again, I added a little early on some names. Whatever. I think I'll be okay. Apologize again. It's hard to do the video and try to trade because again, if I'm trading, I'm not going to sit here and I can't talk to you guys. I mean, I can watch the levels. I can put orders in, but that's essentially what you should have done anyway. If you wanted to take trades on. Looking at Caterpillar back down 3 points. Wow. First Solar back down almost 4 points. XLF, FAS back at 90. Gold. If you shorted gold, that was awesome. Nice work. That got up to 175.25. It's down a point. Now again, this is the thing. Gold's like easy money in my opinion. People are like, oh, but this, and it's like gold is pretty easy, honestly. Like here it goes. It got pretty close to our little circle. Maybe I should have drawn it bigger. Point being, said 175. It's all on Twitter. It's in the Discord room. Congrats. Maybe I should just talk about lessons here as we speak on. Who shorted Microsoft in that pop? Jay Solstice. I hope you did. Throw 100 shares on for your friends. We talk about when the gold gets the big down gaps, especially coming off of highs. It's gonna get bought at some point, right? It's gonna get bought at some point, right? Because remember, like this is the thing about trends. Like they don't flip usually in one direction. Here's two gaps and then rally back. But look at that. I mean, it's temporary. But does that make sense? Like, I mean, I'm trying, again, I guess I probably should have, man, I ignored the chat here. Does this make sense, though, that, like, trading in itself, like, when you're coming off the highs, you're probably going to get buyers at some point, right? Like, straight line move, unless it's something real bad, which, again, something could, I mean, this is the thing, which, now that we're on the backside of the trend, in my opinion, bad news is going to come out. If Eric, Scott, Lupus, some of you guys have been around a little bit. Alan, Side, you guys know that when it seems like the trend is your friend, all of a sudden all the news lines up. And it's like, wow. It's like all of a sudden all this just news headlines. It's like, yeah, do you remember all the bullish news at the highs? Do you remember that? And now it's like, oh, now it's bearish and it's starting to peel back. It's like, oh, because everyone's trapped. Yeah, the January, yeah, Sonny, I don't know, man. I really don't know how to, like, really review the economic data anymore. I just take note of it. I mean, when I see 500,000 jobs added, but every day I see 5, 10, 5%, 1%, 10% of a workforce by dozens of companies over the last couple of weeks, constantly hearing from friends who work in tech, layoffs. It's like, okay, how did we add 500,000 jobs? What is searching for eggs a job now? Right? Is sitting at home trading a job? I don't know. Yeah, bad news will be treated as such versus the opposite. FSME Day had that bad news, but it was promoted as good LO. Bad news will no longer be swept under the rug. I agree. Let's look at this wick. Do y'all see this? I love that. I love this being in person because I think this is what's so hard about trading. Is that, again, if you're all day, every day trying to predict this, you got to be aware of the traps. I hope that's the one value you see out of this. Now, again, this is all free information. I don't care. I appreciate the love and support, but I hope you see like live like how this crap happens. Like how it's just like be on red alert. You know, there's a reason why we say be careful, be thoughtful, right? AI powered by a school librarian from the 5th grade. Yes, from Bing. Correct. You guys are funny. Okay, yeah. I mean, it seems like I like Sonny's trades he's posted in the Discord room. I think they're good. Adding shorts, trading around the positions, however aggressive you may feel. Any thoughts, questions, concerns? I mean, I think it's pretty easy. Immigration hurting labor markets, most in free hotels not working, guys. I mean, again, I don't know. The Denver Rec Center that I go to has been holding like 1,000 Venezuelans. I mean, I know a ton of Hispanic folks. I don't know if they're free will or not, but I don't really want to get political about it, but they've been bused to Denver. I see it. I don't know how that affects everything. Well, I mean, I think I do, but it's just, I don't know how it affects the economic data as reported. How about that? That's probably the better answer. Does it seem right? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know for a fact if I try to go to any other country in the world and just claim, what do you call it? Immunity. That I can just live there, they're going to kick me out. What do you call it? Not immunity. Someone will say it here in a second. But anyway, let's get back to the markets. First Solar down. Microsoft holding here around 265. Meta under 190. Asylum. Thank you. Asylum. Why don't I think immunity? Bleh. Netflix down. Right. Sox trying to get back over 20. NTR low. Look at the ag names. Anyone see that? See like CF? Anyone see CF? Just again, except Canada, they'll take you, Dan. Oh, I think it's because we're all friendly. We're all buddy pals, eh? Canadian, eh? Man, I probably would enjoy Canada. If any of you guys know my background in the outdoors and fishing, I would like Canada. I would like Canada. Anyway, any thoughts, questions, concerns? I mean, I could... Oh, man, look at that. Oh, no, IWM went red. What did I say? You say the word Canada and the market tanks. Jeez. Blame Canada. You know, that whole stupid South Park stuff. No, IWM was already tracking negative. Secretary of Labor Marty Walsh will leave the White House for a great job with the NFL Players Association. Oh, God. Worst news of the day for my hockey friends. The Secretary of the Labor, Marty Walsh, will leave the White House to get a job with the NHL Players Association, according to Reuters. Hockey is ruined from this day forward. Wow. You say Canada, and all of a sudden, just all this bad news comes up. That's not good. That is no good. I was actually, again, I believe hockey is a pretty pure sport. It's not too political. Like, say, Major League Baseball or the NBA, 1,000%. NFL, yeah. Dang it. I like hockey. I don't play it. Boo. Wow. Oh, my God. The D is negative. Couldn't add to my fast short, but basically back to where, yeah, exactly. That's kind of how I feel about my trades, Jay Solstice. It's like, look at the wick grow. I like politics handled with fist as well. I agree, Drew. I like when they can fight it out. Let's look at the hourly. Oh, no! Railroad tracks. One green, one red. First one's the trap. One, you are the trapped. Here you go. People got mad when Penguins visited Trump after winning the cup. Yeah, see, I don't care. If someone wants to visit the president, they can. Wow, SPY about to go negative. Oh, my God, Dan! You are just the worst. You cannot advise people any worse than you did today. Again, you're such bad insights in this Discord room. Twitter drop. And again, I appreciate everybody involved, because that's honestly, I mean, it's wow. There it goes. Don't tweet anything until the close, bro. Whatever. It's all good. Again, I'm here with you guys and the people listening in the Discord room. I mean, I appreciate it. Again, we don't always agree. And I apologize if I come across as a dick. I don't mean to be. I think you guys know I'm a happy-go-lucky, nice person. if my words, again, and I try not to assume others' context as well, because reading stuff and assuming the worst is just typically the bad. It's not a good, I think, because I don't think anybody in there has any malintent, as do I to anyone else. So, wow, look at CF. Burn! Burn. Tesla Q. Oh, my God. Tesla, what are you doing? Tesla, oh, my God. Tesla, what are you doing? Netflix, no, you better not make a new low of the day. No, it's coming. I feel it. Oh, God. Who bought Soxus at under 19? High five to you. High five to you. High five to you. Sonny, if that's you, some of the others posted in the Discord room, I want to give you a shout out. Nice work. Nice work. Trap. Nice work. Trap. Now, again, we'll see how the close goes, but not too bad. Oh, Eric, you got it 1908. That's terrible, bro. That's dog crap. You could do better. Oh, yeah, 20-year rising, dollar coming back. Wow, look at this big range on the dollar, y'all. Nice work. I love it. Freaking love it. Look at the dollar. Hey-oh! Sorry, I've got a lot of murmuring there, but clearly. We'll see what happens. I mean, IWM been leading the way. Netflix, I need to see you down 10 or 15 points. That will get me more excited. Because Netflix can drop like 100 points like nothing. Wow, look at that. Look at that. Again, I appreciate you guys. The love, the support. Good work. Again, the goal is to get everybody here to be rich. Buy real estate, passive income. Grow, share, learn. Because again, the wise man learns from others' mistakes, right? Smart guy just learns from his own. You don't need to make these mistakes. You don't need to have cumulative losses of 7 figures in your past to learn how to trade. Oh yeah, the VIX is still low. That's a good point, right? The VIX is still stupid low. And again, who watches the recaps? Anybody? Okay, raise your hand, because you probably know what I said yesterday, right? Said, watch what happens here if we can get over the 20-day. Well, now we back up. Look at, man, 1864 on the dot. On the dot. Sorry, I'm trying not to get excited about this, but I think you guys know we're confirming the bear thesis. You are the exit liquidity. Yeah, you just got exit liquidity trapped. Nut scrape. Yeah. Yeah. Big dinger. Yep. It's funny because people, again, I don't know if my man Solomon's listening. He goes, oh, this is a cult, or you guys are, oh, nice work, Shannon. All you guys. Like, again, it's not a cult. It's shared learning. Like, the cult is doing what the market's doing and expect to get winning results. Again, it's a fact. 95% of traders at some point will flop out and fail. That's the cult. The people buying the Kool-Aid thinking that's the way to do what everyone else is doing. Again, here I'm trying to give you guys insights from my mistakes, your losses, sharing and helping out. Hence why I appreciate all the donations, no matter how small they are. Because, again, it shows you understand, like, oh, crap. There is valuable information gained. Because I guarantee that 90, again, you go look at Stock Twits or Twitter. I'm not going to go through it. But I guarantee everyone else at one point was going, oh, the bull market's on. Game on. Game on. Right? Oh, change their narratives. Nope. All right. I'm getting the phone call. I got to go. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate all the love. Again, this is not a cult. This is meant to be shared education, because the cult is the team that consistently loses, which is who? Retail traders. You're trying to be like the market makers. We're confirming now potentially the next leg of bearishness. Peace out, y'all. I'll talk to you later. Please be safe, be thoughtful. So happy for you guys. I really am. I mean, I love seeing it. Love it. Talk to you later.